Hi everybody, welcome to Live Blogger. In this tutorial series, we are creating this single page website using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Now in the previous video, we created the hero section. So this is how it looks. We have this slider displayed over here. Now in this video, we will design this Our Services section. So let's get started. Right here we are in the source code. So let's go to the index.html file, and here this is where the header ends. So I'll just create a comment. I'll just tap end of the header, and here let's create a division for the services section. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add the services section inside the container division, because if you go to the style.css file, here we can see that for the container we have set a max width. So let's go ahead and create a division with the class of container. And in that we will have a section, and let's also give it an ID of services. Now in the services section we will have all the content. So I'll just create a division with the class of content for that. Now in this we will have a heading. So let's create an h2, and here I'll just type Our Services. And then we need to have a paragraph. So this is the subheading. So I'll just copy this, and let's create a p tag. And let's also give it a class of subheading, and let's paste the content over here. And the next thing we need to do is we need to create a division for all these services. So let's create a division with the class of services container, and in that we will have all the services. Now for each of the service, I'll just create a division with the class of service, and in this division we will have a division with the class of icon for this icon. So let's create an icon. And in this we need to have the image of the icon. So let's create an img tag, and in the src we need to add the image. So here in the images we can see that we have all these images. So we need to add one of these icons. So I'll just add this app dev icon over here. So I'll just type images / app dev icon, and after this we will have another division for this content. So let's create a division with the class of service content, and in that we will have an S3 for this heading. So I'll just copy this, and I'll just paste it over here. And then let's create a paragraph, and in this we will add this text. So let's copy and paste it over here. And we need to do this for all the services. So I'll just copy this and paste it 3 more times for now. And let's go ahead and style this, and then we will go ahead and add all this content to the JavaScript. So let's go back to our website, and this is how it looks. We have all the services displayed over here. So let's go ahead and style this. So let's go to the style.css file, and the first thing we will do is we will add some common styles. So here we can see we have this heading and this subheading, and if you scroll down, here also we have this heading, and here also we have this heading and subheading. So we have these repeated elements. So let's add some common styles for that. So here, just after the button, I'll just type h2, because these headings are h2. So here we can see we have this h2, and let's set the font size to 40 pixels, and we need to change the font as well. So let's set the font family to Poppins and sans serif, and let's go ahead and add a margin of 16 pixels top and bottom and 0 for left and right. And let's set the text align to center. And now let's go ahead and style this subheading. So let's type dot subheading, and for the subheading we will have a max width of 700 pixels, and we'll also bring it to the center. So I'll just type margin 0 auto, and we'll also text align it. So let's type text align center. And for all the paragraph we will have a line height. So let's type p, and let's set the line height to 1.6. I think we can increase it a little bit more, so let's try 2, and that looks alright. Right now let's go ahead and style all the S3. So let's type S3, and for the S3 we will have a line height of 1.6. And now let's go ahead and style the sections. So for all the sections we will have some padding at the top and bottom. So let's go ahead and type section, and let's set the padding to 80 pixels top and bottom and 30 pixels left and right. So here we have this padding. Right now let's go ahead and style this services section. So let's scroll down and let's create a comment. I'll just type services section. And first of all, let's target the container division, which is services container. So let's type dot services container. Now what we need to do is we need to display two of these services in a row. So I'll just set the display to grid, and I'll just set the grid template columns to 1FR, 1FR. So now we can see we have these two elements in a row. And let's also add a margin top, and let's set it to 50 pixels. And let's add a gap of 60 pixels between the elements inside the grid. Right now let's go ahead and style this icon. So here we can see inside the icon division we have this image. So let's tap services container icon img, and let's set the height of the image to 40 pixels. Right now we want this image to be on the left side and this content on the right side. So we have this division with the class of service, and that we have the icon and the content. So let's set the display of the service to flex. So I just type services container service display of flex, and let's add a gap of 30 pixels, and let's also bring it to the center by typing align items to the center. Right now let's go ahead and style this icon. So we have the icon inside this icon division. So let's go ahead and type services container icon, and let's set the border to 1 pixel solid light gray, and let's set the width to 100 pixels and the height to 100 pixels. And let's also bring this to the center. So let's type display flex, align items to the center, and justify content to the center. And now we can see that this element has shrunk because of this content. So here we need to type flex shrink, and here we need to type 0. And now we can see we have the correct width and height. And let's also add rounded corners. So I'll just type border radius, and let's set it to 8 pixels. And now when we hover over this, we will have a change in the background color. So let's type services container icon colon hover, and let's set the background color to the variable that we created called yellow color. And here we will add a smooth transition. So I'll just type transition all 300 milliseconds ease. And now we can see we have this hover effect. Right now let's style this heading. So we have this S3 inside the service content. So let's type services container service S3, and let's set the margin to 4 pixels top and bottom and 0 for left and right. And now let's style this paragraph. So let's type services container service P, and let's set the margin top to 16 pixels, and let's remove the margin bottom. Let's set the opacity to 0.8, and that's basically it with the styling of the services section. Now let's go ahead and add all this content to the JavaScript and display all of them dynamically. So let's go ahead and create a const called services data, and let's create an array, and that we will have objects, and the objects we will have all the details that we need. So we need to have the icon link, we need to have the heading, and then we need to have this content. So let's type icon, and here we can add the link of the icon. So let's type images /, and the first icon is for mobile app development. So let's go ahead and type app dev icon.svg, and in the same way you need to have the title, and let's copy this title from here and let's paste it over here. And we need to do the same for this text. So I'll just call it content. So let's type content, and let's add the content over here. And I think we need to increase the size of this image a little bit. So let's do that. Let's go back to the style.css file, and here for the image I'll just change the height to, let's try 60 pixels, or let's try 50 pixels, and I think that looks alright. Right, let's go back to the JavaScript, and we need to add all the content over here in this manner. So I'll just go ahead and copy and paste the content that I have over here. Right, so here I have added all the content. So we have these 4 services displayed over here. Now let's go ahead and display all the services in our website. So for that, let's create a function, and it will be for displaying the services. And let's call the function display services. Now we need to loop through all these services data. So let's type services data dot for each. Now I will call each of the services S, and let's create an arrow function. Now here the first thing we will do is we'll create a const for the HTML, and here let's add backticks. And let's go back to the HTML file, and let's copy the HTML from here. So let's copy everything from here till here. So we'll copy everything inside the service division. So let's copy and let's paste it over here. Now here, instead of all this content, we need to add the content from this array. So here, instead of the image, I'll just change this to $symbol curly braces, and we are calling each of the service S. So let's type S dot, and here we have the icon. So we are adding these icons over here. And the next thing is the heading. So let's cut this, and let's type $symbol curly braces S dot title, and let's do the same for the paragraph. So let's type $symbol curly braces S dot content. Right, now what we need to do is we need to create a division with the class of service. So let's type const service equals document dot create element, and it will be a div. And let's type service dot class list dot add, and we need to add the class service, and then we need to add this HTML to the service. So let's type service dot inner HTML equals HTML, and then lastly we need to add this service to the services container. So I'll just go ahead and delete all these services from here, and let's go ahead and reference this services container. So here I'll just type const services container equals document.querySelector services container, and here let's go ahead and type services container dot append child, and here we need to add this service. So let's type service. Right, now if you go back to our website, here we can see that the services are not being displayed, but after we call this function, they'll be displayed over here. So let's call the function called display services. So I'll just type display services, and now we can see all these services are displayed over here, and you can go ahead and make changes inside this array, and they will be reflected over here. So if I just change this to mobile app design, here we can see that it changes to design. So in this way, you can go ahead and display all the services dynamically to your website using JavaScript. So with that, we have completed our services section, and that's basically it for this video. If you have any doubts, you can ask in the comments below, and if you like this video, please click on the like button and subscribe to this channel to get the latest video updates. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a nice day.